In a distant village, nestled among rolling hills and serene rivers, there lived a seeker who had spent his youth in pursuit of worldly wealth. He inherited a vast herd of cattle from his ancestors, and with his wealth, he grew proud and prosperous. His cattle grazed on fertile lands, and his name became known far and wide for his riches. Yet, despite his wealth and status, he felt a deep sense of emptiness within himself. The more he acquired, the more he realized that there was something beyond material riches that he longed for, something that could not be measured by gold or cattle. One day, as the sun rose over the hills, casting golden rays over the village, the seeker heard of a great sage who lived in the depths of the forest. This sage was renowned for his wisdom, said to possess knowledge that could lead one to eternal life, an immortality that transcended the fleeting nature of the physical world. Driven by the desire to understand the deeper truths of existence, the seeker decided to journey to the sage's hermitage. After many days of travel, the seeker finally reached the hermitage, a small and humble dwelling made of wood and stone. The sage, an old man with a serene countenance, sat cross-legged in front of the fire, his eyes closed in meditation. The seeker, eager to meet the one who could grant him the wisdom of immortality, approached the sage and bowed respectfully. "O wise sage," the seeker began, "I have traveled far and sacrificed much to come before you. I am a wealthy man, blessed with great cattle, land, and gold. But despite all I have, I feel something is missing in my life. I seek the knowledge of immortality, the wisdom that will grant me peace and fulfillment. Will you grant me your teachings?" The sage opened his eyes slowly and gazed at the seeker with a knowing smile. "You have much wealth, but you are yet poor in wisdom," he said. "Tell me, what is it that you seek, immortality or the mere continuation of life?" The seeker was puzzled by the sage's words but answered, "I seek immortality, the freedom from death and suffering. I want to know the secret to eternal life." The sage then rose from his seat and walked to a nearby field, where a herd of cows grazed peacefully. He motioned for the seeker to follow. "You have many cows, I hear. Tell me, what is the value of these cows to you?" The seeker replied proudly, "These cows are the source of my wealth. They provide me with milk, leather, and even calves that I can sell. They are my livelihood and my pride." The sage smiled gently and said, "What if I told you that I could teach you the wisdom of immortality, but in exchange, you must give up your cows? Would you be willing to part with them?" The seeker's eyes widened in disbelief. "Give up my cows?" he exclaimed. "These cows are the foundation of my wealth. How can I give them away for something as intangible as knowledge?" The sage, seeing the seeker's hesitation, sat down under the shade of a tree. "Wealth is a transient thing, fleeting as the wind. You can never keep it forever, for it is not yours to control. But knowledge, true knowledge, can never be taken away from you. It is the path to immortality, for it connects you to the eternal truth. You may lose your cattle, but in gaining wisdom, you will gain something far more valuable than all the riches in the world." The seeker stood in silence, torn between his attachment to his wealth and his desire for true understanding. After a long pause, he finally spoke. "I understand your words, Master. But how can I be sure that this knowledge will bring me peace? How can I be certain that it will lead to immortality?" The sage's eyes sparkled with a deep knowing, and he spoke in a calm, yet powerful voice. "Immortality is not a physical state, but a spiritual one. When you gain knowledge of the self, when you see the divine in all things, you transcend the cycle of birth and death. Your soul is eternal, and it is this knowledge that grants you freedom. It is not in cattle or gold that immortality lies, but in the wisdom that awakens your true nature." The seeker felt a shift within him, a stirring of something greater than material wealth. After much contemplation, he finally made the decision to surrender his cows to the sage. "I offer my cattle, O wise one, in exchange for the wisdom you promised." The sage nodded approvingly. You have made the right choice. Now, I will teach you what no wealth could ever buy. And so, the sage began imparting the teachings of immortality, explaining the interconnectedness of all beings, the nature of the soul, and the eternal truth that transcends time. The seeker learned that true wealth lies not in possessions, but in wisdom, compassion, and self-realization. He discovered that the body may perish, but the soul is immortal, and it is through understanding this truth that one finds liberation from the fear of death. As the years passed, the seeker became a wise sage in his own right, teaching others the same knowledge that had once eluded him. He had given up his cows, but in return, he had gained something far more precious, a wisdom that would last through lifetimes, a wisdom that made him immortal in the truest sense. The cows, once symbols of his material wealth, had been replaced by the immeasurable treasure of spiritual knowledge. And so, the seeker's journey was complete. He had learned that immortality lies not in the accumulation of wealth, but in the realization of the eternal nature of the self. The wisdom he had gained would never fade, for it was woven into the very fabric of his being, leading him to a life of peace and fulfillment beyond the fleeting riches of the world.